there was actually somebody complaining about ICE being in the black neighborhoods. They sending ICE to the black neighborhoods. Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world, because you think when when they was allowing all those illegal immigrants to come into the country, you think they was sending them to the suburbs, or nice neighborhoods with mansions and fancy apartments? Like, you think they was sending them there? No, they was sending them into the inner cities. They was sending them into the black neighborhoods. Makes sense, right? That's why ICE is in the black neighborhood. And they complaining about a building that was raided by ICE and how they was detaining black folks. Yeah, they have to detain you when they conducting the raid. They have to contain everybody in the building, but then they was released eventually. But come to find out, that building was basically taken over by illegal Venezuelans. And I actually saw a video of the guy. He was doing a walkthrough throughout the whole building, and how the first floor and the entire first floor was taken over by Venezuelans. And they wasn't paying no rent. They was running cords through the building, like through the apartments. Couches were in the hallways. Man, and then he was talking about, don't let me get started. We didn't even get to the second floor yet. Like, what? Like, these people wasn't paying rent, nothing. They just was lounging in these apartments, these vacant apartments. The entire first floor, the entire second floor. Is crazy, man. And it's ridiculous that, the politicians in Chicago, Brandon Johnson specifically, allowed this shit to go on. Like, and I'm sure people were complaining, black folks in that neighborhood, in that building, was complaining, like, yo, can you do something about this? And he didn't do shit. Not telling how long this shit was going on.
The main people mad about the National Guards being sent to these urban cities are well-off individuals who ain't never had to fall asleep to the sound of shots going off, who ain't never had to drop to the ground because it's bullets crashing through their windows. Chicago, Illinois, aka Chirac, a place so out of control that many children can't even enjoy breakfast because it's bullets in the cereal, y'all. A place where apparently you could just...
59 gun shell casings were found after the shooting of a rapper right outside the Cook County jail.
And let them tell it, the local police got everything under control. Well, I'm gonna have to just respectfully disagree, because personally, if you ask me, they been needed the National Guard, especially after...
A human head has been found on a sidewalk on the west side. Police responded to the 2600...
Oh, so y'all out here cutting people's heads off now. What do they think this is, El Salvador or the Dominican Republic somewhere? You know what? I don't always co-sign with the Don, but I'm going to have to side with him on this. And quiet as kept, many street ninjas also co-sign this, but they'll never admit it because they rather continue to put on the act like they honor the street code like that, when in reality, ain't nobody that gangster. Put 99% of street ninjas in a position where they getting chased by somebody with a gun or a knife and they see a police officer out in the distance. What you think they gonna do? Help!
So according to some of my local news, apparently ICE is making some big moves in Chicago right now. Now, I have family that live in Chicago and I live in Illinois, so this is kind of personal for me, but not really. From my understanding, ICE is only in Chicago to deal with people that have or may be there or done something illegally. Potentially people that just aren't supposed to be there because something illegal. That's kind of the message I've gotten from that. Now, yes, I understand the way they should go about it should be what's best for the people, the most humane and safest way. But let's remember, this is Chicago. What is something that's very rampant and known in Chicago? They have a lot of people with guns there. So if the police are going into an area that they know that the citizens have a lot of weapons, well, I'm going to say that might not be an easy thing to take care of. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that might not be the most beautiful process. But I understand what's happening. I have family in Chicago, like I said, but I don't think ICE is going there to do anything with my family. Now, if my family happens to get caught up in an ICE raid, of course, I would hope they got treated with dignity, humanity, and all that great stuff. But if somebody causes a ruckus while my family happens to be around, well, I would understand my family somewhat being involved in that. I won't just say the police just did something terrible to my family. But also understanding if they did do something terrible, I'm going to be upset. But I'm not there. I'm not seeing it firsthand. I don't know what's actually happening. I don't know every interaction between an ICE officer and a potential somebody they might have to potentially get up out of here. But it's really just that simple. Yeah, things are going on. They're somewhat familiar with me right now, but I know in my heart of hearts, I hope everything goes perfect. Now, unless I see ICE agents lining people up and popping them off in the middle of the street, you know, people being detained and transported to a facility to get processed and all that other stuff, it sounds like that's the best way to go about it so far. You know, so let's keep the updates going, I guess.
Now, this is where ICE needs to come. 5th Street, right off Alney, in the Alney section, where these black, ugly, motherfucking African niggas is at. Get ICE up here and get them the fuck from around here. They stink, they funky, they breaking into people's shit, they stealing. This where ICE need to come. You get these motherfucking niggas, man. They don't even belong here in America. They not bringing nothing to the table but misery and suffering. ICE, where you at? Come get these fucking niggas from up around here at 5th and Alney and Philly. Motherfucker.
If you are just brown or a POC, you are now immediately a target for ICE raids. In case you ain't know,
this is no more than a Democratic ploy to get black Americans to come outside and protest and rail against ICE. It's a fear tactic. I don't believe it. I don't buy into it. But if that is the case, if ICE is actually targeting foundational black Americans, they should, because that's where the governor of Chicago and the mayor of Chicago put a lot of illegal migrants. There are Haitians, there are Africans that's pretending to be foundational black Americans, just trying to sound like foundational black Americans, that's trying to dress and act like foundational black Americans. So I have no problem with that. If that's where a lot of them are hiding, then there are going to be a few victims. But again, I think this is all political to get the black Americans involved, because we're not involved enough. We're not out there protesting. Okay? So again, I have no problem with it. If they're trying to smoke out or weed out the illegal migrants that's hiding among black Americans.
Okay, forgive me, I'm about to flat iron my hair, y'all. I just blew it out. I want to talk about these people really excited when they're like, oh, ethnic black Americans are now getting detained too. Like they've been waiting, like it was the new release for the Jordans. Like the new iPhone was coming out. Like they were just waiting for this day to have, oh, you guys are getting in trouble too. Like, look, you know, and it's really pathetic because number one, no, we're not getting deported. We can't get deported. Sorry, that's your fantasy. That's your sick fantasy, but it's not happening. Number two, it was one woman who was detained for a couple hours, unfortunately, because she happened to live in a Hispanic building. She happened to live in a Hispanic building. And so apparently the building was overrun with Hispanic gangbangers. And so they just wanted to make sure that she also wasn't gangbanging with them. And that's what happened. And they let her go. They didn't let the other people go. Those people are on their way to being deported. So I'm sorry to ruin your sick fantasy. Also, too, when you're like, see, you guys, you know, they're doing it to you, too. We're not, you know what, just so you know, we're not fighting for you anymore. We're not fighting for you anymore. I don't care. We don't care if 1,000 of us are rounded up. If 1,000 of us are rounded up, we're going to fight for ourselves. We're not going to fight for you anymore. We're not going to. And this is just somebody else, another creator said this. If you thought that ethnic black Americans were getting detained or deported, I didn't see one of you guys say, we're going to go out there and help our brothers and sisters. They're getting detained now too. What I saw was tethering. What I saw was disgusting. What I saw was people excited and gleeful, like, oh, look, now it's your turn. We told you so. Like, you're getting detained now. I didn't see anybody saying, let's go help them. Let's go support our brothers and sisters. Like you never do. You never help. You never wanted to help. We've always been the person helping, and now we're not helping you. You don't know what to do. You can't protect yourself. You can't do anything. Okay? We've been detained for centuries. We were detained on the way to this dang on country when we were building up the country. We were detained when we were crossing, when we were indigenous people, and we were crossing from, Florida to Oklahoma, being shipped off on the Trail of Tears. We've been detained since the since the landing of the Europeans in this country. We've been detained. Being detained is something that we are very familiar with, okay? So no, it's not anything new. It's not karma. It's not, oh my God, look what you guys are going through. It's none of that. It's none of that. So while you're trying to feverishly and, gleefully try to hope that somehow we're going to get detained, we've been detained for a long time, but what we're not going to get is deported.
They're losing their country and they blaming they. We ain't sent 9 grams of fentanyl across the borders that's destroying they white kids that's overdosing on fentanyl and opioids.
That's true.
We ain't sent now motherfucking me coronavirus disease over here to cause a wipe out of sick homie, but they blaming they as if the crime bother them. Our crime do not affect white people. You know why? Because they got the prison on the stock exchange. So it ain't costing nobody no money to lock up. They making money off locking up. There go your free labor. So they complain about crime. They need this crime to keep black slaves. That's why even if we never commit a crime, before you're born in America as a black person, you're already a criminal. You know why? Because we can line up 50 black women. How many black women are having boys? They raise their hand. Okay, all black women line up over here. We go 1, 2, 3. One of y'all boys are going to prison before they're even born. Well, who's saying that? America. Because America has a booming prison industry. And they need this prison industry. Not only that, it strips these black people of the rights we once gave them because we still need slaves for free labor. So this crime don't affect us. And it don't affect white people while you're using it as talking points. How many black women having babies? 1, 2, 3. One of y'all going to prison. You know why? Because the American statistic says 1 in every 3 black males will go to prison or be on some form of community supervision in their lifetime. It don't say maybe. It don't say well, but it says 1 in 3 will go. So who makes this shit up? We can go look at black babies. 1, 2, 3. Boy, one of these nigga babies going to prison. And there's nothing nobody can do about it. Nigga, they put this in place for this race. Prison was not put in place for nobody else, but specifically this race. Yeah, we'll put others in there, but the majority is for these people. These people pose the greatest threats to us because they might want retribution one day because we ain't never been fair to them. We ain't never been fair to them. So we got to make sure they stay where they are because our greatest fear is they get over us one day. Do you see how they do each other when they're fighting each other? Do you see some of these snippets when the 20 black guys jump on one white boy? Homie, that's their greatest fear, that it's going to be like that everywhere for them. So they make sure they put things in place years in advance because what they said was we must do this now for future generations may not understand. The future white people is going to be way more compassionate than these people. So they're putting things in place now that their children can't even undo because they like their slaves.
Put that false narrative in. So for those who was questioning about who I am and where I'm at, this is Adam Clayton Powell. This is the building that everyone is in an uproar about. So as I said, South Shore, this is your community, your neighborhood, and this building was not majority black when the ICE came the other day. Yes, black people were affected, but this building was overran by illegal Venezuelan gangs And I just had several conversations with residents who are moving their stuff out of here that confirm that. So stop letting media put that false narrative in your head that somebody coming for you, because they not. You was born here. You was born on this land. Rise up and stand up on something and stop letting any and everybody tell you something.
ICE is now detaining African American citizens in Chicago. Like, as...
Hi everyone. I have been unfollowing and blocking a lot of people lately because of the nonsense that I keep seeing about people in my city. Honestly, at this point, I don't care if people assume that I'm a MAGA or Trump supporter or whatever, because the funny thing is, I didn't even vote for the man. I didn't vote for him. What frustrates me is the propaganda, lies, and misinformation I see coming from people from the left. Too many people are just reacting to headlines and emotions instead of actually reading and thinking critically. Comprehension is very important. I've lived in several countries, and I didn't live in tourist areas. One time in Turkey, I was at the airport, TSA. They took my passport, and I started wondering, why the hell am I still here? Should I be going through now? Eventually, I found out it's because I had overstayed by 1 day. But ask yourself, how did I find out? A group of 5 to 6 Turkish police officers came in squad deep, and they told me that I had to go with them. And they brought me to their station. There, they explained that I could pay a fine or have the overstay permanently marked in their system or on my passport. And as a Black American woman traveling solo, I was scared as fuck. But I also understood that this is their country. Again, this is their country, their rules, their laws, and I was just a fucking guest. I'm a guest. I can't just go in their home and rearrange the fucking furniture. How dare I? And now to the Venezuelan gang. How did a Venezuelan gang get into this country? Why were migrants pushed in predominantly Black neighborhoods? Y'all hate to ask these fucking questions, and it irritates me. Because I remember last year, some Hispanic neighborhoods refused to accept them. That's why I made a comment under someone else's video some time ago about like how the predominantly Black neighborhoods in Chicago, they're not going to be predominantly Black maybe 10 years from now. It's probably going to be little Venezuela, to be honest, because I'm already seeing it. Now, the girl who I showed in the beginning of this video, you are fear-mongering. And you're not going to fear-monger me, baby. You're not. In the South Shore area, a building was raided. In the Tren de Agua, I don't know how to pronounce it. Don't care. Anyway, the Venezuelan gang, they were found inside. Why the fuck did you not mention that in your video? And you also forgot to mention that the Black people, as you say, were released. They were released. Y'all are pissing me off trying to push a certain fucking narrative because you want us to go out and protest for y'all. Or you're trying to make us Black Americans trying to say that we're immigrants. We're not immigrants here, baby. My parents are from here. My grandparents are from here. My great-grandparents are from here. My great-great-grandparents from here. I got roots in here, baby. I'm not leaving. And another thing that gets me tight is the amount of Black folks that be caping for Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker. Y'all be calling out billionaires all the time, but y'all not calling his ass out? That man, Pritzker, has a history, allegedly, of being a crook. A simple Google search would do y'all justice. Y'all saying that this man has done a lot for Black people in the city? Bitch, where? There are fucking food deserts in predominantly Black neighborhoods. They're going to cut the public transportation, CTA routes, in predominantly Black neighborhoods. Not only that, y'all want us to continuously protest for y'all when Hispanics have been very racist towards Black folks, especially in the city of Chicago. I have family that work in that industry, and they've experienced discrimination firsthand from Hispanics. Not only that, I have experienced discrimination as well. I've personally been called the N-word multiple times by Hispanics, and I had to tell them to stop, and they want to fight. They want to fight to continuously say the word. I've also experienced discrimination towards Hispanics when it comes to getting a job, getting increase in pay. That pisses me off about some Chicagoans is when y'all are saying there's no crime here. And I'm seeing people post videos of them being in a safe neighborhood, and I'm realizing like, oh, I know that neighborhood. It's the gaslighting for me. And I remember Trump saying he was going to send the National Guards here, and I was debating because I'm like, I could see how this can go in two different ways. But unfortunately for me, I would want it because I got stuck in a crossfire on 76 and Evans. Broad daylight. I was in a state of shock. Luckily, this elderly man pulled me to the ground. He saved my life. Not only that, my brother was gunned down and unalived this past June. So should I still say, no, we shouldn't accept any help in this city, no help? Even though I experienced these two major things, well, it's been more. I have more stories about experiencing gun violence here. And another thing, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson, what happened to that funding? That money that was supposed to help us stop the crime in the city of Chicago? Y'all keep on saying Governor Pritzker is the best governor here, woo woo. I'm thinking, how? How, Sway? Because that governor, I know for sure that he definitely participates in the systemic racism in this city. But of course, because he's a Democrat, y'all gonna give him a fucking pass. This is another reason why I won't protest for, how you guys say, illegal migrants, whatever. Because the comments that I've been hearing and seeing from them about how, like, oh, they really want this country to, when it does, they can just go back home. I've heard this comment multiple times. And okay, if it does, the American empire, okay, what about us? Are you caring and worrying about us as well? Do you care about our well-being of what's going to happen in this country? Of course not.
Scrap what you might have heard. HBCUs are not receiving federal funding cuts. In fact, they're receiving millions in investments from the Trump administration, according to a statement released today by the U.S. Department of Education, which said they're redirecting financial support away from, quote, ineffective and discriminatory programs toward those that support student success, including charter schools, HBCUs, American history programs, and tribally controlled colleges. That's directly from a statement from the U.S. Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon. UNCF applauds the funding increase for HBCUs, noting that it is $435 million in previous discretionary funding that's been redirected toward HBCUs. The investment supports Title III programs, acquiring property, construction, campus maintenance, lab equipment, faculty support, student services, and more. Here's where it gets confusing. Just last week, September 10th, the Department of Ed did announce they were ending funding for, quote, racially discriminatory grant programs at minority serving institutions, or MSIs. To be clear, MSIs and HBCUs are not the same. They have two different federal designations. The proposed cuts for MSIs are aimed at increasing minority enrollment in science and engineering programs. In essence, that $350 million in programs came away from MSIs to directly invest in HBCUs, charter schools, tribal universities, and American history programs. Don't get it twisted. UNCF says even with this new support, HBCUs are still underfunded. You can learn more at blackenterprise.com.
So apparently, ICE detained some Black American citizens in Chicago. And you have many Black American Democrats who are saying, we told you so. We should have aligned ourselves with immigrants because they were coming after us next. Understand this. The plot was always to enrage Black Americans so that they can go out in the streets and protest, so they could carry out what they actually want to do. So it's been, let's poke at the bear to see what's going to get them to react. That has always been the plot. So I still say, do not ride for people who are not going to ride for you. Do not put your life on the line for people who won't ride for you. Now, in this case, where Black Americans have been detained by ICE, how many immigrants do you see saying, no, this is not right? Black Americans are our people. We need to go out, protest. We need to go out, protect. We need to go out and do whatever we can to make this right. Or do you just see a whole bunch of people talking about, I told you so? You see how it's always on one side and not the other? Black Americans are always the protector. No one ever comes to protect them. So when you have those of us who saying, no, save your energy, because we know there's going to be a time we have to fight. And all of that energy needs to be preserved for us. This is precisely what we're talking about.
Going after black people in Chicago, this is not right. This is not right. Y'all some lying motherfuckers, all right? Let ICE do their job. This is what we voted for. I kid you not. When are y'all going to wake up and realize the politicians y'all chose sold us out for illegal immigrants? Salute to Jamal Green, man, because I didn't like Jamal Green at one time. Because he was all for the immigrants at first till he started realizing, oh, man, these people getting free housing, cars, jewelry, bitches, everything. While Americans gets nothing, all right? And they dumped them in your neighborhood. That video y'all seen on 75th and South Shore with them ICE agents going in there taking out them immigrants, that's what we voted for. Y'all was just crying on 75th and South Shore, talking about how they took over y'all building. Boy, I tell you right now, we got a lot of sellouts in the black community. Y'all better wake y'all ass up. If it wasn't for Trump, America would be over, and starting with the black community. They ain't dumped none of them motherfuckers on the north side and these other people community. They ain't dump them in nobody community but yours. And y'all fighting for them to keep taking y'all benefits. Oh, man. Boy, I tell you right now, we're in trouble. The black community in trouble. And it's all because of y'all some slow, dumb motherfuckers. Look, Governor Prick Prisser, you not going to win again. Mayor Brandon John, you not going to win again. People starting to wake up.
Anybody that's telling you that ICE or the National Guard or whoever Donald Trump send into your city are specifically coming for black people, you need to never listen to them ever in your life again. Ever. They want y'all to believe that Donald Trump is sending in the military, ICE, to come get you. But we're American. So what do we got to worry about? Not only that, we have creators on this app saying that they're coming for us. Let me tell you something. That building that they raided was a Trende de Agua building. Point blank period. Yes, there were black people that lived in that building, but the majority of the people in that building were Trende de Agua. They got 37 of them, right? 37 members of that gang. Yes, were some black people detained for a hot second and they got let go. What are we talking about? I done seen video after video of black people saying that they sent the troops for them. What is wrong with y'all? See, you guys are paid actors. Y'all want to rile up the black people so that the black people can be put on the front line to push another agenda that's not going to benefit us. Fighting for immigrants does not help black Americans in any way. That's not our problem. We're American. That's the part that y'all keep forgetting. Y'all hate white people so much that you forget that you're American too. You don't have to worry about that. Being deported, immigration. Let them handle that. That's not your fight. But we got people getting on this internet, right? Saying that they're coming for you. Look, they detained black people. Y'all need to cut it out. And y'all need to never listen to these fools again. Because these are the people who are constantly selling fear. They want black people to be scared of something. And for once in American history, we are not the target. Can't we just be happy for that? Can we not bask in this glory that for one time in American history, we are not the targets? We should be happy. Why are you fighting for them? Why are you getting on the internet crying for them? This ain't, listen, y'all can call me what you want, but that I'm telling the truth. Name something immigrants have done to help black Americans. Go. Exactly. Nothing.
Chicago, you need to stop lying and saying, and people on this internet need to stop lying and saying that they're coming for black people. Yes, there was a building in a black community that was not majority black because it had been overran by illegal gang bangers. Let's be clear. So why everybody want to keep throwing that narrative around half of South Shore is fucking invaded by illegals. That's the truth. So don't get on here saying black people are being came for. They're coming because they're in our neighborhoods and our communities. That's why. So yes, they're going to go in buildings where black people live and sleep because they put them in buildings where black people live and sleep. South Shore, born and raised. I know what I'm talking about. Stop pushing that narrative because it's not correct. So for those who was questioning about who I am and where I'm at, this is Adam Clayton Powell. This is the building that everyone is in an uproar about. So as I said, South Shore, this is your community, your neighborhood, and this building was not majority black when the ICE came the other day. Yes, black people were affected, but this building was overran by illegal Venezuelan gangs. And I just had several conversations with residents who are moving their stuff out of here that confirmed that. So stop letting media put that false narrative in your head that somebody coming for you, because they not. You was born here. You was born on this land. Rise up and stand up on something and stop letting any and everybody tell you something.
How do I feel about the 75th and South Shore raid? Okay, so let's get into it. So one quick thing to note is I want to show you guys some headlines that you may have missed in the last several months to like a year, okay? So over the last few months, there have been multiple arrests of large groups of gang-affiliated individuals, and they were affiliated with the gang, which is called Tren de Aragua. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So these people have embedded themselves in a multitude of neighborhoods all across Chicago, and it is due to the mass import of a lot of individuals that were not validated by immigration. When you get validated by immigration, they do check to see if you have any like warrants that are like that can be read or seen by the country you're trying to come into. They check a lot of things. These people were not checked for these things. So we do have a large new gang presence that is here in Chicago. The situation that happened on 75th and South Shore, they had a warrant to go and to target certain individuals in that building. Once they got into that building, more than likely chaos ensued, and they ended up having to secure individuals in order to secure the operation, keep themselves safe, and also keep those people safe. Why? You're going to immediately say, oh, you're making excuses for them. I'm not. If you know a police officer, if you understand how it works to be a police officer, their job, or just an officer or an agent or whatever, their job is to secure the situation so they can complete the operation and they can get out of there safely. If you have people literally panicking, coming in and out of their units, trying to accost you or attack you while you're doing your work, which is what Chicago officials have been training people to do. These quote unquote activists, the mayor and the governor, are literally encouraging Chicagoans to protest, but also to intervene and to prevent law enforcement officials from doing their job. That's illegal. So if any person did that, if any person presented any danger to those officers, if any person intervened, got in the way, or tried to stop them from getting those people, those like 37 people that were in that building that were gang affiliated, if they tried to do that, that is against the law and it's not allowed. It's not. So that's one of those things that we have to kind of stop letting Mayor Johnson send us off on a blank mission for, is thinking that you can go and intervene in a federal operation and not have any repercussions, because there are most definitely repercussions that you will have as a result. I'm very happy that those people got removed from that building. The Black Chicagoans and people in general deserve to be able to live in their building without having a foreign gang embedded inside of their building. Absolutely not. Last thing I'll say is that I want people to be safe. The best way you can keep yourself safe if you see federal agents doing an operation is to get out of the way. When I see police officers racing down the street, I don't block the street. I don't block officers or federal agents, and you shouldn't either.